How are we all doing? Is that good for volume? Good? Yeah? Amazing. So, the engines will get a little louder throughout the tour, so if at any point you need me to turn the volume up, you can go like this. You can turn it down, you can go like this. If you just want me to shut up and stop talking, you can also just go like this, okay? Fantastic. Well, welcome to Lake Minnewanka aboard the Alberta Explorer. How are we all doing today? Great. Oh, a little clapping in the back. I love it. Awesome. Fantastic. Oh, wow. Yeah. Amazing. Great. So, my name is Jacob, and I'll be your tour guide here for the next hour or so. And driving the Alberta Explorer to my left, she's very wonderful, the very amazing Captain Mackenzie. Let's hear for Captain Mackenzie, everybody. Yes, very, very nice. She'll be keeping us nice and safe as we travel about 12 kilometers down the lake here today. So, speaking of safety, I do have to go over a really quick safety briefing with all of you. First thing, underneath your seats, there are life jackets that look just like this. Oh, I see you checking. You should not believe me. No, it's all right. So, in the sense that we need to use them, myself or Captain Mackenzie will ask you to remove them from your seats. Then you'll just put your head through this hole right here. It doesn't matter which way, though, because they are reversible. Then you'll take these two smaller straps here, tie a little bow tie around your neck. Then you'll take these two longer straps here, wrap them once around your body, tie a big bow in the front, and then you are good to float. For all my younger friends on board, if you are under 90 pounds or 40 kilograms, I do have children's jackets right up here at the front that I can disperse. And for our very little ones, parents, you'll just put on your life jacket and then hold on to your infant. Next, there's some emergency exits. The most obvious one being at the very back of the boat back there. Or we can climb up this nice set of stairs here, pop open this hatch, climb up onto the front. Or all of these windows also count as emergency exits. Finally, in the event of an evacuation, we do have a life raft at the very, very back of the boat that can hold up to 75 people. 75 people. You know how many people this boat can hold? 67. So there's no need to push your husband or wife into the water to try and get a seat on the life raft. And if we do end up using the life raft, you will all get the free upgrade to the 6.5-hour life raft cruise. As Captain Mackenzie and I paddle you on back. All right, in all seriousness, feeling safe, feeling good? Fantastic, awesome. So, now that I've done my safety speech, if at any point during the cruise you want to utilize the back deck, please feel free to do so. There's just a couple of rules for the back deck. Please no more than 8 people at one given time. And if you go out there or come back in, just make sure to close the door behind you, otherwise it'll start to smell like diesel in here. But if you're trying to go to the back deck to escape my voice, I'm so sorry, but there are speakers at the back. Yes. Alright, so, in the spirit of reconciliation, I also want to acknowledge the land that you are all traveling on here today. You are all traveling on the Treaty 7 territory of Alberta. This recognizes that this is the traditional and ancestral home of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina Nation, the Stoney Nakoda First Nation, and the Métis Nation from Alberta Region 3. Alright, now with that, this is an interpretive tour. I want to talk about what you want to know. So I have a normal tour that I can get into, but before I do that, were there any burning questions that you would have for me today when we got on the boat? About the lake, Lush, Banff, my love life? We're all good? Fantastic. So, we can begin the tour by looking out the left-hand side of the boat. Now, you will see a very sandy-looking beach just along the shorelines right there. You don't see the beach over there? Fantastic. So, maybe on a slightly warmer day, you may notice there's nobody on that beach. Looks like the perfect spot to maybe have a couple of drinks, maybe set up a beach towel, maybe get some volleyball going, who knows? But, what if I were to tell you in person that once you stepping even a single foot onto that beach over there, you can receive a small fine of $25,000. Yeah, pretty good way to turn your holiday sour. Now, why is that? Because we, the public here at Lake Minnewanka, are allowed to travel anywhere else along the shorelines, including the water, except for that one sandy beach we are now passing. Does anyone want to take a guess as to maybe why we're not allowed on that beach over there? What do you think? Land, exactly. So, during an archaeological dig conducted by the University of Calgary in the 1970s, archaeologists found around 200 of these little guys right here. What do we think this is I'm holding in my hand here? Arrowhead, you're close. It's a little bit bigger. Spearhead, yes. What I'm holding in my hand is called a Clovis point spearhead. And the scientists and the archaeologists, they were able to permeate them when they found them buried underneath the sands. And they found out that these little guys are just shy of 13,000 years old. 13,000 years old, making them natural historical artifacts. So of course, the scientists wanted to teach them out and put them on display in museums for all to see. But when they asked Parks Canada, hey, can we take and they grow really, really close together. Maybe no further than this island in some areas. So, because they grow so close together and there's so many of them, you may notice it looks really, really dark in there. Not a whole lot of sunlight can penetrate through to reach the forest floor. Where no sunlight can reach, no other plant life can begin to grow. And where no other plant life can begin to grow, then no animals can do anything on that side. Developing this side is what we call a monoculture, meaning one type of species of plant grows on this side over here. Whereas, comparatively speaking, if you look at the left-hand side of the road, you'll notice it's a lot more open, a lot more biodiverse. This is where about 95% of all of our wildlife sightings occur. So I can't promise you folks you'll see anything right there, but if you were to see something, it'll most likely be on that side over there. So now next time you're wondering, well, Jacob, these two shorelines here, they're only a kilometer apart. Why are there so many more trees over there and not so many over there? Well, what if I can tell you 40 years ago, these two shorelines weren't the exact same until something happened on this side over here. What do we think happened over here? Fire, yes, love it. Back in the year 1983, Parks Canada wanted to conduct one of their very first attempts at a controlled forest fire. So we found that a healthy forest should burn about every 150 years or so. Now invite the old trees to die and make room for new trees to begin to grow. So it can continue to look like this for a very long time. So, Parks Canada, they wanted to test this theory out by burning about 1 square kilometer of land. However, they decided to do this controlled burn on a hot, windy, dry, clear sky July afternoon. Oh no, you can probably argue what happened. It turned from 1 square kilometer turned to over 30 square kilometers worth of burning, almost completely engulfing the entire North Shore in flame. And you can still see evidence from that fire on the left-hand side of the road. There are big soil patches where it's very patchy. All that soil in those patches has been sterilized from that fire, meaning simply nothing can grow on those patches anymore. So, ever since that day, we don't call them controlled fires anymore. We now call them prescribed burns. It's a little embarrassing when your controlled fire goes 29 kilometers out of control. Alright, if you look at the right-hand side of the road, you will see we have a little waterfall. Yeah, pretty cool. Now, that waterfall is called Gerard Falls because it is on Gerard Mountain. Now, you would all came at a perfect time to see this waterfall. If you were to come on this cruise in about a month or so, those falls would be completely dried up. There would be no water flowing through that root system, allowing it to die without affecting the rest of the trees. Now, I have a little nickname for those trembling aspens. I call them nature's medicine cabinet. That's because there are two unique things you can get from the aspens. Firstly, on a very hot, sunny day, if I'm trapped in the middle of the Rockies, I might need some sunscreen, and there's no grocery stores around. Luckily, I can walk up to the aspen, rub the bark, and get a fine white powder from it, which, when I apply on my skin, works as a very low-grade SPF. About an SPF 10 or so. Nothing like you buy in the grocery store, but better than nothing. Now, the second thing, there's actually a campground hidden behind all of those aspens back there. And personally, when I go camping, I like to have a company of fruit juices. Unfortunately, when I have too many fruit juices, I get a really bad headache the next morning. Well, I'm in luck with the aspens once again. I can walk on up to the bark, rip off a piece of it, and start to eat it. And while I may look a little silly, my headache will slowly start to go away. Now that's because there's a chemical in the trembling aspen bark called salicin. And salicin is the exact same chemical you will find in your aspirin medications. So a lot of the stony people would see pregnant deer walking on up to the bark and nibbling on it right before they're about to go into labor. So as I like to say, if you're in dire need for an aspirin, look to the aspen. Yes. Alright. Now, the stony Dakota, they also utilize lodgepole pine trees for their survival. But not just for wood or the bark to create their teepees, but also the pine needles themselves. They found that they were feeling really, really sick. They could make a pine needle tea, which when they drank it, they would feel way, way better. Now that's because we later found out one handful of those pine needles has the same amount of vitamin C as about 2 to 3 oranges. That's a lot of vitamin C in it. And they were very malnourished back in the day. They never ate fruits or veggies. So what sickness do you think they suffered from? Scurvy, the pirate's disease, exactly. So they create various soups, stews, and teas utilizing the pine needles. But how could they boil the water for their tea? I mean, Betty Crocker wasn't a thing back then. There were no pots or pans. So how could they boil the water? Well, I actually have a bit of a demonstration for all of you here today. Now, this is very exciting. I ask we all stay seated. Nobody get too excited as I showcase to you Lake Minnewanka's very own rock. No, it's not that interesting. But what is interesting is that this rock here is called limestone, calcium carbonate, a very popular mineral used in the production of cement. Now, one thing people don't know about limestone is it has a really good ability to hold heat. If you were to take this rock, put it into a fire for about an hour, and then remove it, you'll continue holding the heat from that fire for up to 4 hours, a really long time. So, what the stony people would do, they would travel along the shorelines, gather as many limestones as they could carry, then, when they were satisfied, they would head back to their camp, start a fire. They would then place the rocks into the fire. And as the rocks were heating up, they would dig another hole beside that fire, which they would line with an animal hide, usually from a sheep or a bison. Then after about an hour, they would transfer the rocks into the hole, then finally walk on down to the lake, gather some water, and pour the water into the hole. Now you all seem like smart people. What do you think happened when they poured the water into the hole? It would boil, it would steam. Exactly. So, if Captain Mackenzie grabbed me a hot enough rock here today, you may be able to see something amazing. Try to hold your applause until it happens. Oh, there's a little bit of steam there. Can you see it? Just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So, it begins to steam. And normally it's a little bit hotter, so you can actually hear the water beginning to boil from this bowl right here. Yeah, it's not as hot, unfortunately. But there was a little bit of steam there, I promise you. For all you in the back, there was steam, I promise. Now, this is exactly how the Stony people got their Anglicized name, Stony. Because when the European explorers came over, they saw their unique cooking habit utilizing these stones. So they thought, oh, perfect, we'll just call them the Stony people. Pretty smart. Alright, as you have all probably noticed, Captain Mackenzie has slowed down the boat. We're not out of gas, do not worry. We've actually reached our halfway point here. You are all now about 12 kilometers into the Banff backcountry. And now, the only other way to get this far back into the Banff backcountry is by utilizing our hiking trail we have that hugs along the North Shore here. But to get this far back, it would take you about 6 hours worth of hiking, and we got here in what, 20 minutes? So I think you chose the way better option for sure. Now, in moments, Captain Mackenzie is going to fully shut the engines off, where we will be at the mercy of the wind and waves of Lake Minnewanka. And I want to try something, and I'm emphasizing try something. I want to see, as soon as she turns the engines off, if we can have even a single second or two of just silence, where we can just listen to the sounds of the wind and waves and nature, a lot like how they would have heard it all those years ago. And I understand we do have some little ones here on board, so if they make noise, that's okay, because that sounds of nature as well. Alright, normally at this point, I also like to give some statistics about the lake. We are traveling on Banff National Park's longest and deepest lake in all of the park. We are about 29 kilometers long in the peak season. We are about 1 kilometer wide, and the depth. If you don't want to hear the depth, just go like this really quickly. Way back in the docks, it's about 60 to 90 feet. Where we are right now, it's about 150 feet deep, but the deepest point of the lake is behind all of you at the base of that mountain back there, where it is about 500 feet deep. Yeah, it is very, very deep. Has anybody traveled through the city of Calgary? Did you happen to see the Calgary Tower at all? Yeah? If you were to take the Calgary Tower, put it at the bottom of the lake over there, only the little itty bitty antenna would be sticking out of the water. The rest of it would be completely submerged under the water, yes. Alrighty, she's shutting off the engines here. Now, my friends in the back, can you hear me? In the back deck? Fantastic. I would like you to also participate in this with us. We're going to try to go for some silence here. In 3, 2, 1, and silence. And with that, we can come back. It's pretty nice though, right? For a few seconds, just hearing the waves tapping against the boat, the wind blowing through, little kids talking, all sounds of nature. So, we're going to be back here for a little bit, about 8 minutes or so, so this is your free time. Feel free to stand up, stretch out those legs, utilize that back deck if you like. Again, I just asked we keep it to 8 people at one time, but now that we're not moving, you can just keep the door open. I'll be up here, happy to answer any questions you may have. It'll be up and running again in about 8 minutes. Thanks, Chris. I just want to make a quick announcement as well. You can keep your windows open, but now that we're coming back, we're going to be hitting a lot of waves, so there's going to be a lot of water splashing in. So if you're not getting wet, the person 3 rows behind you might be getting wet. So just check in and make sure that everyone's still smiling and we're all good. It's okay if you get a little bit of water on you though. It actually makes you look younger. I'm really 70 years old. So. Alright, so for the majority of the way back, I won't be talking as much. You're welcome. This is more of a time just for all of you to enjoy the surroundings, really just talk amongst yourselves, enjoy the sights. If you do have any questions, feel free to flag me down, and I'll be happy to answer them one-on-one. But for the most part, I'll stay quiet, and then when we're about 10 minutes away from the docks or so, I'll have one last story to share with you all. But until then, enjoy the cruise, everybody. Also, you can still utilize the back deck if you like. Just make sure you keep the door closed, and we keep it to 8 people at one time. pretty bad for you guys. I get to point out one of the key attractions we have here at Lake Minnewanka. That's the beautiful, bustling, lakeside resort town of Minnewanka Landing. And Captain Lindsay was so courteous to bring us only 90 feet away from us right now. Can you see it? I'm looking at it. I can use anybody yet? You got it back there. It's actually 90 feet beneath us. Right now, we are traveling over the sunken resort village of Minnewanka Landing, which was first established in 1886 as a little getaway destination for a lot of tourists who didn't think Banff was quite backcountry enough for them. So they would hop on horseback from Banff and travel for about 2 hours until they got here to Minnewanka Landing. But as you can see, it's not fully under the water. So how did this flood? Well, what did the fish say when he swam into the wall? Oh, damn. You know what? Thank you so much for laughing. Don't ever laugh at that during Valley. Thank you. Yes, over the course of Minnewanka Landing's time, there were 3 total dams that ultimately led to flooding. So the first dam was built in 1895, and this dam was built purely to allow more access to the tourists. These dirt shorelines before the dams were built were really muddy and boggy. So if you tried to walk through the shoreline in your nice shoes, you'd get all muddy and wreck them all, and nobody wanted that. So they built the first dam to raise the water level about 6 feet or so to create a new shoreline that was a lot drier for the tourists to walk on. Then, in the year 1912, there was a second dam built, and this dam was built as a hydroelectric dam to provide power for a neighboring tiny town called Bankhead, Alberta. Now, have any of you ever heard of Bankhead before? Well, you all drove past it on your way here to Lake Minnewanka today. Some of you may have seen signs for Upper and Lower Bankhead as you were driving on the road. Now, this is a ghost coal mining town, which was in operation from 1902 all the way until 1922. And they built the dam in 1912 to help power all the coal mining machinery they used to mine anthracite coal right out of the base of Cascade Mountain, this real big mountain in front of you here. However, when they built the dam in 1912, it raised the water level about 15 feet, flooding a good 1,000 square meters worth of land, forcing a lot of the locals of Minnewanka Landing to burn down their buildings and move them up to the new shorelines. But Bankhead had to cease their coal mining operations in 1922 because of something called the National Parks Act. Now, the National Parks Act basically says you cannot take any natural resources from a national park, you cannot build anything on a national park, and you cannot modify it in any way, shape, or form unless it's for maintenance, forcing them to cease their operations. Then finally, in the year 1941, construction began on the third, final, and current Rockwell Dam that you all see in front of you here as another hydroelectric dam. But Jacob, didn't you just say they couldn't build anything because of the National Parks Act? I did, but I'll give you a hint. It started construction in 1941. What was going on in the world during that time? World War II, smart group, awesome. So, Canada passed what we call the War Measures Act, basically saying you can build anything wherever you want as long as you're in support of the war effort. So the Calgary Power Company said, fantastic, we're going to build a hydroelectric dam on Lake Minnewanka to provide power for an ammunitions factory in the city of Calgary. Now, have any of you had a chance to visit that ammunitions factory? No? Well, you're all honest people because it never existed to begin with. By the time the dam was finished in 1946, the war was already over. They had nothing to power, making it redundant. But we actually still utilize the power from this dam to power parts of Banff and Canmore. So is anybody here staying in a hotel in Banff or Canmore? Yeah? Well, when you go home tonight, you can flick on that light switch and you can think back to this very moment when I told you it was powered by Lake Minnewanka. You can think about me when you go to bed tonight. How nice. Oh, yeah. Anyway, when that dam there was built, it raised the water level about 90 feet high, completely submerging Minnewanka Landing under the water. But is anybody here scuba certified? No? Well, you could have joined one of the thousands of divers who dive 30 meters down to visit the remains of the town. And what season do you think is best for scuba diving in? Not summer, but winter. In the dead of winter, they will cut a 4-foot by 4-foot hole in the ice and dive 30 meters down. Now that's because this lake fully freezes over in the winter, so no boats are going over it, meaning all the sediment in the water has settled to the bottom, giving the divers about 60 feet worth of viewing. Pretty awesome. Alright, my friends, we are approaching the docks, so I do have some unfortunate news. The cruise is coming to an end. Aww. No, don't cry, I know. Sorry for me too. But I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for allowing me to talk your ears off for a little bit. You were a fantastic crowd. I just asked if you're on the back deck to just come on back inside and have a seat. If there's any lumps or bumps, just stay on your rumps for me. And then once Captain McKenzie gives you the A-OK, you'll be good to go. But one last time, on behalf of myself, Captain Jacob, Captain McKenzie, everyone here at Lake Minnewanka, thank you so much for joining us here today, and promise me one thing, okay? Have a wonderful rest of your vacation, everyone. Thank you so much. I will see you all on the docks, but until then, goodbye, everybody. Okay, pause. Yes, there are 5 different species of fish. I can tell you all about them.
Yeah.